hand into frame, who crawled through a river of shit and came out clean on the other side.
Not even supposed to be here today.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Hello everyone and welcome to the podcast. This is Shifting Focus, the show where we talk movies, TV shows, books, whatever strange and wonderful things catch our attention this week in entertainment media, and we bring it all to you. This week we are going to review Netflix's new Marvel show, The Iron Fist, and we're going to count down our top 5.5 TV shows based on comic books. But first, let's just talk about some of the big news items we've seen going around this week. I want to first let you guys know about some shifting that's been happening with release dates for a lot of movies. So Batman, first off, was pushed from 2018 to 2019. So this is Ben Affleck's solo Batman movie after he's done with Justice League and all that. And a lot of people are saying that's probably because Avatar 2, which I suppose is really the bigger news item, has been delayed again.
So it's not the same studio, is it?
No.
Okay.
But I guess Avatar 2 was originally supposed to be in December next year.
Right.
And everyone had their eye on that, and they were all getting away from that. Essentially, no one wants to be in December anymore because there's going to be a Star Wars movie and Avatar. However,
so not going to make any money in December unless you're
right?
Star Wars or Avatar.
Or Avatar. So, I mean, no matter what you say about Avatar, it made a lot of money, and the sequel will as well.
Wait,
just out of people's curiosity.
Avatar.
People didn't like Avatar?
Movie.
Yeah, lots of people hated Avatar.
Really? What's
You
wrong with
joking?
people? I hate everything. How come I didn't hate it?
I mean,
don't
I get why they would hate it, but it was a beautiful movie. It was a fun
I loved
movie.
it.
It was very
Yeah.
exciting.
I mean, it had a decent storyline. It had like technology that we hadn't seen before as far as like movie making. The guy invented the camera to do it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only thing people take away from that movie is the technology, and that they just look at the acting. It was subpar, and the characters were subpar, and everything was just
I guess
subpar.
I haven't seen it since it came out. So
Right? So you think you're a little biased?
Well, maybe I'm just maybe it doesn't hold up type thing. Like, it was good. It was good when it came out, and I
Is it on
liked
Netflix?
Avatar. Oh.
Maybe. So Avatar has been delayed again. Essentially, what's his name?
James
Cameron. Obviously is having a hard time getting all this together. He's very positive online, but it's been delayed. And then not long ago, Disney revealed that the next Star Wars movie, the Han Solo one that we're getting next year, which was also going to be in December, has been moved to the summer, has been moved ahead. So everyone jumped on that release date. Batman put himself there, but for some unknown reason it was delayed, and so Sony came out and said that they're going to put out a Venom movie in that sort of October sort of winter time slot that people would stay away from. A lot of people think it's kind of weird. I agree. I mean, they've abandoned the Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, but is this going to be Homecoming's Venom, or is this going to be
I
a
don't
whole
know.
new? Like, are they related,
Well, I mean,
or
if
are they
it's
separate?
If it's Sony's doing Homecoming.
I know.
It's still their product.
But it's
I know,
not
that
though.
makes sense.
It's Marvel's product.
No,
So-
Homecoming is a Sony Marvel collaboration.
Exactly, but
Right.
it's completely directed by Marvel. They're doing whatever Marvel says when it comes to Homecoming. Whereas Venom,
Yeah, well, 'cause
it's
that's-
not in the MCU. It's
that's
not on
'cause-
their block.
That's because Sony's intelligent. They realize that Marvel
Yeah.
prints money.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they burn it.
You
It
want
was
me to
it was
do what?
part of the
Okay.
deal. It was,
I'll
you
put 'em
know,
in
you
a
get to
red hoodie.
keep the rights, but we're making the movie and you do what we're say. But so maybe Sony still wants to try to, I don't know, I guess make a lot of money and exploit this series to some degree. So they're like, what's everybody's favorite thing? Venom. But Venom hasn't really been relevant for a long time. And doesn't everyone still have that bad taste in their mouth of Spider-Man 3's Venom?
Well, I mean, I think Spider-Man
was
and the Amazing
so-
Spider-Man were horrible, and Homecoming
this
is the
is-
only Spider-Man that exists.
Spider-Man
So-
3 is a great example of when they try to do too much in one film,
Yeah.
right? Like they threw in and then took out Venom,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? They're like, oh, we have Venom, and he's done. But he's such a... Why?
One direction they might go that might be fun is Agent Venom. It's kind of been the most recent
Yes.
comic
Yeah,
variation
that could
of
be
him,
good.
where he's this sort of ex-military Flash Thompson who has the Venom symbiote, and he does, sort of black spec
'Cause he
ops
can't
jobs
walk
now.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that might make it, I suppose, maybe some sort of John Wick style movie that he just so happens to also have the symbiote.
That could be interesting because, I mean, there's a lot of play with the symbiote wanting to take control and getting very aggressive.
Yeah.
I know in the comics with the Agent Venom, he's got like this deadline of he can only be merged with a symbiote for so long, otherwise he starts going a little too nutty, and they're always pushing that, right? So that's a great element in the movie. They can say like, oh, he can only be this, and then like the last half of the movie is him as Agent Venom pushing against that clock, right?
Yeah, no, that certainly sounds like it would be an interesting way to take it, and that's the only way they could go. Otherwise, it's just going to stand out as a weird sore thumb. And
well, they'd have to cover too. I mean, to do a Venom movie, they got to cover too much material because they have to bring in the idea of the symbiote and the fact that the symbiote looks like a spider because it originally bonded with Spider-Man. And now it's gotten away from that because every imagery about Venom is
based on
tied
Spider-Man.
back to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right. It has nothing to do with Spider-Man. It doesn't have to have anything to do with Spider-Man. And maybe they'll break away from that altogether. But the idea of Venom, it's the venom of a spider, right? It's still tied. Even the character's name is tied back to Spider-Man.
So all in all, it's a bad idea. Obviously, we're not the ones writing this, but I wouldn't want to. So I don't know what they could possibly do. I wouldn't want to touch this. Exactly for the reasons that Dave just said. It's too much.
I want to write it. I want to write it, but I want full control. Hear me, Sony? Yeah, I'll write a movie. It'll be great, but I get full control. No one can tell me what to do. You get back to me and we'll set something up.
Venom bonds with a puppy.
No, I'm thinking, okay, so obviously MCU is not involved in this, but that doesn't mean it won't be involved in Venom 2. And set this up as like a slow roll, a slow burn. Don't try and get the entire backstory of Venom in the one movie.
That's the recipe.
I don't credit
everyone
Sony
ignores
for being able to do that.
Like, just go slow on it. I mean, that's all they have to do. The problem is, okay, Sony has a choice. They can do it Marvel's way, or they can do it Warner Brothers' way. And unfortunately, there's Sony, so they're going to do it. They're going to do it Warner Brothers' way.
Warner Brothers' way. Kind of like, I suppose, something else we can talk about, which is the Justice League trailer.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That just came out, and we all had a chance to watch it.
Oh my God, I had nerd wood the entire time I was watching it. But
like that's like that. That's like 4 teasers for 4 different movies.
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah,
not like a trailer for a single movie.
I can't imagine how they can get whatever they're showing us into one movie. It looks like there's so much going on.
Well, and that's just it. They're gonna get it all into one movie because they're gonna shoehorn it in, and then it's gonna be shit,
like
just
Batman
like
versus
everything
Superman.
else they've put out.
Like so going back to the idea, I talked about this before. How with Marvel they introduced Iron Man. They introduced the characters first, so they had the time to play with them, then bring them all together.
Yeah.
They haven't done that with DC.
No.
And I love DC. Like if I'm going to pick up one comic or the other, it's usually DC. There's something about those characters that I've always liked.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll have seen the Wonder Woman movie before this comes out.
Right.
But
So
we
that
won't
gives
have
her
seen
backstory.
Cyborg or Flash or Aquaman. And I mean, as this has been said time and time again already against Warner Brothers, which is just that the whole thing is just DC wanting to fast track their team project in order to catch up with Marvel Avengers, but they didn't realize what Marvel did. Like how I don't know how they could not realize, but they didn't look. They're not paying attention to what Marvel did to get there, and just cutting themselves off at the legs with this.
Well, like, did Iron Man did they lose a shit ton of money on Iron Man? I could have swore that Iron Man made money.
It made a
it made a shit ton of money.
Really?
If it had made a shitload of money, we would never have had Avengers.
Okay, hold on.
They made 2 before Avengers came out.
Iron Man 2 must have lost like trillions of dollars.
You know what?
right?
I don't think Iron Man 2 made as much money as they liked, but it was still definitely
made a
They still made a lot of profit.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they're thinking then when DC goes and looks like, hey, let's just make all 6 movies.
Oh no, they
one.
did. They said, hey, let's do Superman. And after they made Superman, they're like, fuck it, just throw the rest of them in. We'll figure it out as we go.
And it's like someone had this idea, which on the surface isn't a bad idea, of just introducing the new Batman via Superman.
Yeah.
With a Batman vs Superman movie.
And I that you can do that.
Yes. However, what they ended up making was a pile of garbage, which introduced 5 different Batman or Superman comic stories into one.
One.
And it was way too much. And even
A Lex Luthor that was more like a Joker. Batman that was a little too crazy.
Although I think the crazy, but it's the crazy Batman that's in the Batman vs Superman storyline.
Right. Yeah.
The story of Batman coming back out of retirement, which is exactly what they should have stuck to.
I kind of liked Crazy Batman.
So there's one thing in that movie. I know we're not talking about that movie right now, but that always bugged me, and it just felt so out of character for Batman, regardless of his incarnation.
What's that?
When he said that when he was talking about Superman, how Superman is essentially a walking nuclear weapon. And he's like, and if there is a possibility
That line.
that if there's even a minor possibility that this could go off, you have to treat it as absolute certainty. And I'm like, no, you don't. Batman will prepare for that that possibility, but do nothing.
Yeah.
But should that fuse ever get lit, he's already got the bomb squad ready to go at the push of a button.
Yeah.
But he does nothing until it's necessary.
Yeah, Batman's never been a preemptive.
No.
A preemptive.
Prepared.
Yeah.
But not never.
And in the Justice League trailer, they kind of, maybe it seems they might touch on Batman's craziness a bit, because you have Jim Gordon on the roof with Batman saying, glad to see you. What did he say? Something like,
glad to see you're playing with others again.
Playing with others again, yeah. Which pretty much just means, glad to see you're being your old self again, Maybe,
and I mean, maybe
because it could be Robin or Batgirl or something it could be referring to.
Right, so it could be, because we've already seen this Robin suit in Batman v Superman covered in Joker
spray paint.
Joke's on you.
Yep.
Maybe they'll explore that more.
Yeah, and they
in the Batman movie, but we should have done that before we get into these movies.
Although, no, I don't think that's necessarily bad, because I think even though they didn't do it right, they had the right idea of jumping into the middle of this, because we don't need to see Batman's origin story again, even though they did it anyway.
Not his
in
origin.
Super slow motion.
Not his origin. The reason why he's like this now, because he's kind of just he's a little too hardcore, and I'm sure that's been a journey. He started. Yeah, so I can see Batman. How Robin got killed, and he went a little screwy.
Yeah, so I can see how putting the Batman movie first before they even did Batman vs Superman.
Well, not even before Batman v Superman, before Justice League. So you get a bit of the backstory. This is why Batman was acting this way.
Sure, BVS could be like a teaser of Batman character, and then you're right. I mean, that makes all of these ideas are infinitely better than what they're doing.
Hear that, Warner Brothers? Shifting focus. Our email stuff will be at the end of the episode. Shoot us a line. We'll set you up.
We'll set this right for you.
We'll help you out
we
here.
know how to make it work, obviously, because we're in the industry.
Yeah, you guys obviously don't know what the hell you're doing. There's more news. I'm kind of not excited about this next piece of news.
Not excited?
No.
What? Yeah, because we got to kill. I would just go on a rant for Justice League for hours. I'm excited, but cautious.
No,
that's how I'll leave it.
I'm talking about the fact that they're redoing Matrix.
Yes.
It's not even 20 years old already, and they're already going to remake it. Sorry, they're not going to remake it. They're going to reboot it. I mean, sorry, they're not going to reboot it. They're going to do something completely different because, this guy's full of shit.
Yeah, well, it's a computer program, so rebooting makes sense.
If we were doing an episode every week, we would have been following this story as it unfolded. But yeah, it started off as word of a Matrix reboot in the works. Then writer Zach Penn comes out and says, no, we're not rebooting it or remaking it. We're doing our own story. But then the latest news is that it might be a Morpheus prequel. So it's like, no, you're not actually doing your own story. You're just like, no one wants a prequel of anything. They want new stories. They want more stories. Continue.
Did you learn nothing from episode 1?
Yeah, exactly.
Star Wars. Nobody cares what happened before.
And I mean, look at the Animatrix. They prove that you could make intriguing characters and incredibly interesting stories of all the side things that happen in that world. It is a treasure trove. Yeah. But then to just focus on Morpheus, which, I don't know, did any of us really come out of those movies wanting to know more about where Morpheus came from? He's not... He's the mentor character.
By the end of the third movie, we had learned a lot about Morpheus.
Yeah.
I don't think
he's the mentor. You don't need to be getting everything.
This is episode 1 again. We're going back and we're going to learn about Obi-Wan, how Obi-Wan became Obi-Wan.
Darth Vader, and we never really needed to see any of that.
Yeah. The pod racing.
Now, I gotta give it to Zach Penn for just going out there and trying to set the record straight and being like, he's not the one who said the Morpheus prequel. He just said, we're not rebooting or remaking it. His tweet
so he said that it won't be a Morpheus prequel.
No, he didn't come out and say anything about that Morpheus prequel. That's just a side rumor I brought up. He came out and straight up said there'd be no point in a tweet. He said there'd be no point to remaking The Matrix, just re-release it in theaters. Like, you gotta give props to that kind of statement. One thing I wanted to bring up was the stuff that he's done before. This is the guy who wrote X-Men 2, which is definitely the best of the 3 original trilogy of X-Men movies.
For sure.
However, he also co-wrote X-Men 3, which is the worst of the original 3 X-Men movies.
For sure.
And probably the worst of all of the X-Men series of movies.
No.
Yeah. What's worse than X-Men 3?
the Wolverine. The
Oh,
original.
Origins? Yeah, okay.
Origins.
Yeah, I'll give you that. At least X-Men 3 gave us Beast, which looked badass, but...
Kelsey
yeah.
Grammer as
Kelsey-
Beast is awesome.
Yeah.
He is.
So he also wrote Incredible Hulk, which was bad.
Deadpool with his
That
mouth
they
sewn
kind of
shut
forget
is
that it's part of the
sacrilege.
MCU. And however, he also co-wrote the Avengers.
Which is good.
So it's like, my question is...
So hang on.
is he
co-wrote
what made
X-Men
these-
2 with who?
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry.
I think
I'm
it's
sorry.
like-
You want me to go through all the co-writers on these
Well,
movies?
the reason I'm asking, like, he co-wrote this, he co-wrote this, he co-wrote this. I'm like, all right, who's he being paired up with X-Men 2 and Avengers?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
And
obviously
who's
we
he being
know
paired up with X-Men 3 and Incredible Hulk, because those people should be removed from the project.
that's
but
what I
keep
mean.
The other ones.
All these
Well, it
projects had
depends.
multiple people involved.
Maybe
and so,
he needs to be removed. 'cause
right? Is he the one who's good, or is he the one who's bad?
bad?
Right.
Did he bring Kelsey Grammer in as Beast, or did he do everything
Which
else
was a
in
great
that
Or,
movie?
or did he sew Deadpool's mouth shut? Because if he sewed Deadpool's mouth shut, I'll come
he
and sew
didn't do
his
that
mouth
movie.
shut.
He didn't do that movie.
Oh, that's right.
You
X-Men
brought
3.
that up.
That's right.
It's all right.
Sorry.
I mean, you're right. That's the idea. Was he responsible for any of the bad stuff in those movies, or is he responsible for the good stuff? Obviously, we all hope it's the good stuff, and we'll have to see what they do with Matrix. I'm excited about the concept of more Matrix movies
Yes.
told
Yeah,
in
that
this
would be
universe with other people, but
But no Neo,
No.
no Morpheus,
No.
Make it a
no
Make
Trinity.
it a TV series.
yeah.
Yeah,
Make it a
I
TV
want to see a
series where you can
Netflix.
explore around, or FX does some good stuff too.
One thing I thought that's funny though is
FX doesn't release everything on one day.
No.
yeah,
You don't
no, we
have
want
to get
something that
everything all
comes.
at once.
Yes, we do. Are you
Yes.
kidding me?
Everything should be available.
Look,
on day
Netflix
one.
is the future. I don't even have cable
Considering-
because I don't want to wait a week between shit.
Considering how much material is out there, it doesn't have to come out every day, because I'm still watching a backlog of other stuff, right? That's been on the PVR. As I watch through that, I'm then collecting the next episodes.
Right. Something I wanted to bring up though was the fact that as much as we all agree that a Morpheus movie is a bad idea, why do we all think a Han Solo movie is a great idea? And why did we all think Rogue One is a good idea? And why do we all want a Boba Fett movie?
Well, because they're not the mentor character.
They're not the main characters.
they're
Well,
a-
I mean, Han Solo is, but he's
But I mean,
Han
even
Solo
then,
was the brother.
he's the pirate. He comes in on the side, does a few things, and takes off.
like, we don't need to see how Morpheus got unplugged.
Yeah.
Right? We know he got unplugged, and that's all you need to know. He's
And
now,
there's no real journey from the Matrix movies, we don't really see a journey or a change in Morpheus's character. He's always been that mentor.
Yes.
Yeah.
For Han Solo, his character changes from that first movie that he's introduced. So
yeah, he goes from
So you
pirate
want to see how he
like
got to
before.
that point,
Yeah.
even.
Yeah. How to get to the pirate from the hero? Like,
Yeah.
right. How to get to that vagabond stage?
And there must have been hints, because I mean that type of change doesn't happen immediately. He was never an evil or shady character.
No.
He always had that moral compass to watch his progression from pirate to prince, let's say.
Let's see. Let's
would
see
be
the
kind of would be
prince
to
to
see.
pirate type thing.
Yeah.
Let's see the other side.
Well, I don't think he started as the prince.
No, but I mean, like, but obviously at some point, because like you said, he always had the moral compass.
Yeah.
Obviously, he went downhill at some point. Let's see that downhill that led to the uphill.
Or anything. I mean, the idea is that his backstory is something that's interesting.
Look, it's young Han Solo and young Chewie. I'm all for it.
Yeah. What else is going on out there? The Pro. Someone, Dave, you were telling me about a new show.
Yeah, so I came across, I saw that come up in my news feed. I thought that'd be interesting. So the Pro has been purchased by Paramount to be produced as a movie.
What's The Pro?
The Pro is a graphic novel by Garth Ennis, who also does Preacher.
Mm-hmm. He's I loved his run on Punisher.
Yeah, he's
the
done
Punisher
all kinds
Max
of stuff.
series, which they borrowed a bit from for Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
And I hope they keep borrowing from for the Punisher standalone show.
Oh, the Max series were so gritty. I loved it.
I'm sorry, so continue.
That's
Garth
okay.
Ennis.
So the premise of the movie, or the premise of the graphic novel series, is about a prostitute who wakes up one day with superpowers.
Okay, can I just say that I have heard nothing about this yet? I'm ready. Let's go. When can we buy tickets?
What are her superpowers?
I don't even care.
I don't know the details of her
Okay.
superpowers. I haven't looked into it that much.
So what's
but it's
big deal? Because it sounds silly, but
it sounds silly. I mean, it's definitely going to be a fish out of water, because she then gets recruited by, I think they're called the League of League of Righteousness or the League of Justice, and of course her moral compass and their moral compass aren't really in the same position.
You don't say.
How she may choose to diffuse the supervillain may differ from other people's approaches. But it might be nice to see someone whose first instinct isn't to throw a punch. It's to offer a different solution.
Yeah, that definitely one's aligned with a group called, what did you say, Justice?
Yeah, the League of Righteousness.
The League of Righteousness.
Justice.
I think League of Righteousness. I think is that's.
That is. I hope that's what the name is, because that
epic.
fits so well.
That is epic.
I'm down. This sounds hilarious. It sounds like it might be a good, some good comedy, but also some good action.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be satirical. I don't think they're going to be hitting it as a very serious comic book movie, kind of like
no, it's not going to be dark and gritty.
No, it's not going to be too dark and gritty either. But it should be fun.
All right.
What else is coming out on TV?
Mystery Science Theater 3000
is
coming to
back.
Netflix. Woohoo!
Yeah. Brand new, or just like they're putting out the old episodes, or
brand new 13 episode run.
Oh,
New
nice.
cast.
Yeah.
Felicia Day, love her.
Yep. Patton Oswalt's in there.
Now, I have never seen Mystery Science Theater.
What is wrong?
Ever. Not a single. I know what it's about.
We got one guy who's never seen Mystery Science Theater. We got one guy who's never seen Firefly.
Okay. So in regards to that, I was actually
finished?
Do we have a Firefly update?
No, I have 2 episodes left, and it's making me sad. And this is why I didn't want to watch it in the first place.
You got to
because
finish
I
it.
knew but then it's gone.
No,
So as
it's
long as I
not.
hadn't finished it,
No.
It stays in your
more,
heart
there was
forever.
always more to watch.
No, hold
now
on.
it's all going to be done.
Dave, there's this magical button. It says rewind. You can go back and watch it all over
What does
again.
rewind mean?
But
You
there's
can watch it again. And
there's
again,
episodes
and
like
again.
there was actually an episode that I'm actually in the middle of right now. I'm like, I don't think I'd ever even seen a part or any of this one before.
Oh, that
like,
must be so magical.
It is, and that's why I wanted to keep it away, because then it was always there. It was always an unfinished season.
I mean, you're right. I live in perpetual state of depression because there's no more Firefly.
Because it's over. Yeah.
But I'm still
Anyway.
fondly think back to how wonderful my time with it was.
Anyway, Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's season 11. It's going to be...
So they're just adding it on to the
They're
existing.
just adding
they're
it
not
on.
starting another
It's
season.
not it's not a new reboot or anything. It's just they're picking up where they left off.
Very
So
cool.
for Ryan, just so he's familiar with the premise,
And the
premise,
rest of the audience.
and the rest of the audience, whoever else is who has not heard of Mystery Science Theater, premise is they build the premise around trying to do these psychological tests to this guy who's going to be played by Jonah Ray. But the way it works out, the way the show kind of works out for you is that it's like you sitting with your friends and just carving up a movie. So it's him and a couple other people.
I recently did that with Dune with a buddy. We just watched it and had a drink or two and just ripped it to shreds the entire time and absolutely loved it.
Nice.
So it's a science experiment. So he's forced to watch these bad movies as part of this science experiment.
I mean, I guess I assume that's just the whatever they threw together as a reason for it. But
that's
really,
the
the whole
vessel to
point
get
of
them
the
through
show
the-
is that they are just watching and making fun of bad movies, right?
Yeah.
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 All right.
Which
I mean,
you
that
can
sounds,
too. I mean,
sounds a
you
lot of
sit
fun.
around and you make the comment, then he makes the comment. You're like, yes, totally.
I think we should do that. There's 3 of us
yeah.
here. Should watch a bad movie and
Okay, wait.
So
if we
many
go back
movies.
to one of our beginning episodes, I brought that up. Said
Did
we
you?
had to do this.
Oh yeah, we definitely will.
before this came up, we have to do this.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think there's one more thing we want to talk about for news items this week. Mike, you had told us about Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
doing,
So they're working on Mission Impossible 6.
Yep.
And they're working. The reason it's taking so long is because they've been working on a single stunt for almost a year. It's kind of like the airplane stunt where he hangs out of the airplane.
That really
and
terrible airplane
where he
stunt.
climbs the building in
I like the
in
one where he
Dubai
climbed the
in
building.
AE. It's those type things. It's that big stunt that makes the movie.
Right.
And they are currently doing the setup for that. For the new
Okay,
movie.
so he's been training for like a whole year.
For a whole
is
year
the-
so far.
is-
Yeah.
That's interesting. I feel like it's the same director as the previous movie.
Yep.
Christopher McQuarrie, I think is his name. And he's the same director as Jack Reacher. Terrible movies. I did not like the previous Mission Impossible movie. but I really liked the one before that with the tower and the Burj Khalifa, and I thought that was a great stunt. But I don't know. I just felt the last movies. I hope a year of training means that they're really pulling out all the stops on this stunt, because the last one I thought was a flop. It was just him hanging on to the side of a plane for a minute.
Your $20 million actor is hanging off a plane as it runs down the runway.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
that's pretty.
That was a pretty epic stunt, but it was
but it was nothing. It was nothing to it. They threw
yeah.
a camera on a plane. They said hold on, and they took off, and that was it.
So
like
if
the Burj
taking
Khalifa
a year
thing
to do this stunt, it better be freaking
right?
epic.
It has. I hope it's like the Burj Khalifa one, where it's part of the actual narrative. It's part of so you're excited in the moment about what's happening, and he's also climbing a bloody tower, but he's climbing it to get to the server room or whatever it was. You know, it was part of the actual story, not something just thrown together. It seemed to me, at least. So I don't know. I hope I have high hopes for it, even though I was burned with the last one. I didn't think it was very good, but
yeah, we'll see what comes out. They're always, I don't know, they've never been good movies, but they've always been enjoyable movies.
yeah, that's true. I'm probably still had a good time watching it anyway. All right, so moving on, we want to get to what we're here for today, which is reviewing Iron Fist.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do. This is Marvel's latest Netflix outing. It is the fourth new hero they've introduced to the MCU via the Netflix original shows, and he's the last member of the forthcoming Defenders team-up show that will bring all these ragtag group of street-level heroes together to fight who knows what. Maybe the old Chinese lady, what's her name?
No, Joy.
Madame Gao? Maybe
Madame
Joy.
Gao.
Yeah, maybe we'll just fight Joy. We'll just have a bunch of series of legal battles with them.
Yeah.
God, this was just an utter pile of shit.
Oh,
It has
so
this
difficult
movie.
to get through.
This show had only one redeeming feature. It was able to consistently get worse from the first episode to the last. I don't think I've ever seen a show that consistently was on a downhill trajectory. Every once in a while, you'd expect it to go up a little bit.
But no, it just kept going down. And, you know, I wanted to say that maybe one thing I liked about it was David Wenham, the actor who played... he was Faramir in Lord of the Rings. He was Leonidas' second in command in 300. He's got this amazing voice. He was the father of Joy and Ward. The two childhood friends of Iron Fist.
Right. We had to put that in quotes.
He was great because when I first saw him, I thought he was great. He did a great job, just like in these movies. He was incredibly dramatic. He had his amazing voice. But then throughout the entire show, he keeps saying the same lines. He keeps doing the same things, and his voice was annoying because he was putting on this, "Oh, I'm here for you, Danny," and it was like, shut up already. Like, stops doing the exact same thing. So no, there are no redeeming qualities except for the one Mike brought up. It was just so poorly cast. He was great, but the whole thing was just very, very poorly cast. I don't know about you guys. What did you think of the actor who played Danny Rand? Finn Jones.
I think he should be able to fight.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That was one of my big issues with this movie. Is that
I'm not sure why they had to give the. I'm not sure why he had to act like he had a frontal lobotomy.
He was dense. He was so dense.
Oh, he was dense too.
No emotion, no
I guess
intelligence.
That's the writing's fault, right? The writing kind of made him
the
dumb
writing
and do dumb
made him
things.
a bit dense. But if you're gonna have a show about the kung fu master, the immortal Iron Fist, you're expecting a lot of good action.
So let's talk about the kung fu then.
Okay.
The choreography itself wasn't necessarily bad. It was just poorly performed.
And it was the same. Yeah. It was the same. They just copy and pasted it.
Yeah.
He does the elbow lock to every single fight. He does an elbow
Which
lock.
I feel like in Daredevil, that's one thing, because he has a specific set of moves and he's going to pull them off all the time.
Right.
You know, but with Iron Fist, he's supposed to be very well versed in a lot of
He's supposed to know all
martial arts.
Yeah.
And
he's getting smacked around way too much for someone who's supposed to be a master.
And also just performing them very badly.
Yeah.
And like Mike said, going against the same things or doing the same things. I thought the series was going to get a little better. About halfway through, he fights a drunken boxer.
Yeah. So I was excited for that. Like, this could be fun. This could be really cool.
Now we're getting it.
Yeah.
But it was a flop. And I really wanted the whole show to be like that. Well, not the flop, but to be seeing him face off against just multiple fighting disciplines.
The whole show was a flop. If you were looking forward to that, then you should have been pleased.
There was so many. So going back to the drunk fighter, there was a lot of elements. That's a great example of elements that they would bring in to be like, "Ooh, this is exciting," and then it's gone, and it's resolved within less than an episode.
Yeah, well, a few minutes and
for
very
him it was
poorly.
a few minutes. For some of the other things, like I think we're going to cover spoilers in this. So when they introduce the fact that Madame Gao doesn't really represent the Hand is this bigger organization that is actually a good organization, but it's not a good organization. It's actually an evil organization that's just making it look like good.
And it's only a splinter.
And that was
if anything,
one episode.
I got that they were a splinter group, if anything, the good side of the Hand. Not all the Hand is good. I'm using quotes good because they weren't actually good. They still tried to kill him.
But the whole show, everybody is against him at some point. Like, okay, at the beginning when they don't know he's Danny or whatever, Joy is against him, but she immediately realizes it's Danny. She has her doubts and all this, and it's Danny, and she's on his side. For the rest of the show, he does nothing that could possibly upset her.
Well, he lies to her, I think, was her big concern. And I know what you mean, which is that one's really...
But when someone lies to you, you sit down to coffee with someone and plan out how to kill the person who lied to you. I mean, that's your response is, that bastard lied to me. I'm going to kill him.
Well, Joy didn't plan out his death.
That's what the end scene of the show is, her sitting with his brother from
they're planning some sort of downfall for him.
He says we have to kill him, and she's like, tell me more. Like, they're sitting down to plan Danny's death at this point.
Right.
How they don't even notice Madame Gao's just sitting there.
Like, right behind
she's
her.
A pretty distinctive looking individual.
They know who she is.
Which brings up the question then, like, do they know she's there? Did they bring her?
I mean, they should fear her.
They have to know. She's sitting 2 inches away from Joy's back.
Yeah.
There's no way she doesn't realize.
I mean, the way
there.
that they're framing it is that they don't know, and she's just listening in.
Okay.
Which I know. That just counts towards how terrible of a show it was.
So why are we doing those kind of
decisions?
Can't we just say it's shit and then move on? Don't waste these.
It was the fighting was bad.
Yes,
the characters
development
were not
there.
Interesting.
No, the characters were not interesting at all. It was very boring.
The stories were boring.
The things that they went about from one episode to another were just so mundane and uninteresting.
It seemed like he didn't understand his power, even though
he didn't, and that was something that was left kind of unresolved. So when the show was done, when the season was done, I had questions of like, why did he leave Kung Lao in the first place? And what did he actually learn? Like, how did he get the Iron Fist? Because they kind of hinted at it. They never really gave it to you.
And that should have been the story. We should have been getting the story of his training and how he becomes the Iron Fist. Like,
which they did early on in a couple of episodes. They kind of gave you some teasing, and they're like, this was my big issue, was that they would bring in something. And this is something interesting that you're gonna. Oh, you want some more of this? You want some more of this? Guess what? It's fucking gone.
Yep.
Anyways, we're going back to this.
We're
going back to the boardroom where you're going to talk about who owns the company. A company that we don't give a shit about, with CEOs and characters of this company that we don't care about.
And like, okay, so Madame Gao owns the 13th floor. Like, why the 13th floor?
Because no one uses the 13th floor. It's bad luck.
You know that most buildings in New York don't have a 13th floor, right? It goes 12 to 14.
14,
which is probably how it was there, because it wouldn't have been on the records or something. I don't know.
It was some other dimension.
Bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So yeah, there was so much potential. Like, they would tease you with these ideas of like, oh, and there's also a way for someone to die and then come back to life. But when they come back to life, they're a little crazy.
And they're crazier than the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Ward, at the end of the show, Ward is now fine. Everyone's okay with him. Ward is a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, one of the two.
Ward needs to be put into so medical observation.
He murdered his father.
He murdered his father. His father came back, but he murdered his father.
Twice. He murdered his father twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second time he didn't come back.
You're right. Everyone's kind of okay with everything by the end of it. And I was very confused about their opinions on him, why they were so accepting of him. Now, I actually had a friend who watched the show who actually liked it, believe it or not.
I don't ever want to talk to this person.
They're not all the way through it, but they were telling me how they found a lot of story elements taken from Shakespeare. They found a lot of even... dialogue matched sort of a more modern version of
Hamlet?
Like speeches and Shakespeare, Hamlet, Macbeth,
okay.
and so they were really enjoying it from that perspective.
But if you take anything that's written now, you can line it up to Shakespeare. Like that's like saying, I can't come up with
any romance stories. Oh, it's based on Romeo and Juliet.
Like,
yeah. And honestly, I feel like I could give the show props for that if it was still a good show.
But I mean, like, pick any show and sit down and think about it, and you'll find a Shakespeare play or multiple Shakespeare plays that it follows and has kind of the same dialogue and everything, because Shakespeare wrote so much and he covered so many different
Now, I have a nitpicking thing, and I don't usually nitpick, but this one just couldn't get away from me for the entire show. I kept thinking back to it, which is right at the beginning. He meets someone when he's on the street who shows him the marvel of the internet.
Oh, the homeless guy. The homeless guy with an iPhone.
Now, he's been missing since 2002, which is what we're told. He's been gone that long.
Yeah.
Now, the internet existed, though, back when I checked in 2002.
Did
that
it?
was the heyday of the 56K modems. You didn't have to be rich to have internet anymore at that point. Everybody in the developing world had internet.
I know what it was, though. I know why he didn't know what internet was. Because Wade kept going and cutting the cable in the back of his 56K baud modem. He cut it over and over
Wade
again.
was a dick.
Wade was a dick.
Wade? Ward?
Ward.
Sorry.
You
Yeah.
had me really confused. I'm like, is Deadpool
Wade
in
Wilson.
this?
You didn't see him?
But I mean, he's a rich kid. You know, he
Yeah.
would have definitely been just playing video games online with his friends before that plane crash even happened. Like, it's
For
not.
sure.
He knows what the internet is.
I mean,
But he was so amazed and marveled by it.
And where does a homeless guy get an iPhone?
Well,
I mean,
okay,
honestly.
anyone-
he
that's
said he
common,
found it.
I feel.
And
Yeah, but
he
how
was
do-
making. He even made the comment. He's like, "Do you want to look up anything before they realized they lost it and cut it off?"
It was
Okay,
so awkwardly
but
written
it's-
too. That
Yeah.
whole dialogue scene. I mean,
It's a new iPhone,
Yeah.
which means it's got a fingerprint reader, which means it's locked. The guy stole the poor lady's finger.
Oh,
when
the
he
only
stole
way
her phone?
he would have got it is if he got it as it was dropped.
Yeah.
And it's not locked, and he kept it unlocked.
yeah,
Right. So he's
yeah. So he's at
Which
all
means
times
he's got
just
until the
swiping.
battery dies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or the person shuts down the phone.
yeah.
they could
look,
have handled it
it's-
so much better. Like,
Everything about the show could have been handled so much better. Just the whole show, every decision that any character makes is just dumb.
Yeah.
Not just Danny Rand, but other characters. They make really
it's-
dumb
everybody
decisions.
makes dumb choices over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Except, what was the nurse's name?
Claire Temple.
Yes.
She had
I did
some-
like that she was there, and then she was actually the one who'd keep bringing back the voice of reason. Like, why are we
Yeah.
doing this?
Yeah. She had
She's
this.
like, how are you doing? Well, 2 people have tried to kill me today, so not great. I meant, are you hurt? Oh, thanks.
yeah. I thought she was great. Obviously, Rosario Dawson's a great actress, and
Yeah.
she brought the same zest
She's
for
been
the
this
character
thread
from
through all
all
the
of them.
shows. It's been nice.
She was a lot of fun to see. Actually, probably the only good thing about the show was when she was around on screen.
Yeah.
And
I still think she still wrote what the writers put on the page, and I
yeah, but they had. I
don't
wonder
think
though,
she could save it.
because they. No, I definitely don't think she saved it.
'Cause
but
she was
her
pretty
scenes,
stupid in this.
Not necessarily, because when she was playing the rational character, I wrote down these 2 quotes she has near the end of the show when they're trying to say about how they have to go and they have to kill these people, and killing is the only way. And she just says straight up to him, there's some shit you just can't punch. and then he's like, you're right. And then so his friend Colleen says, yeah, you're right. I'll kill him for you then. And she's like,
Yeah.
Jesus, is there a version of this where we don't kill someone? And she just shifts their focus back to getting the character back on track. Yeah.
But then they go kill him anyway.
Well, yeah, some Ward shoots him, which I thought was a convenient way for him to not have to have our good guy kill him.
Right.
He was just so lame. The whole show was lame. Everything about it.
This is definitely...
Even from the beginning. So, like,
Yeah.
the decisions he made at the beginning where he's going on and on about, like, oh, I'm Danny. They're like, well, we have no proof for this.
Mm-hmm.
We have no way for you to verify this, and you look homeless. Right, but I'm Danny. And that was his position.
Yeah.
It wasn't until he ran into the lawyer that he finally said something useful, like, oh, in this office, I saw you do this and that.
Right.
No one else was there. I'm like, why the fuck haven't you been doing this to everybody you meet?
And somehow they managed to erase all trace of him. He's this billionaire playboy,
Yeah.
akin to Bruce Wayne. And all trace is gone. They have to use a fingerprint from some ceramic thing that he made,
how-
a clay thing he made. Like, God.
Who
How
just
did-
happened to
the
still
show
have
is so
this as a
bad.
key dish.
Oh, she still had it as a key dish, but how the hell did she know his fingerprint was on the bottom of it? It's a smudge on the bottom. What, she looks at the bottom of this thing on a
I
regular
guess
basis?
she looked at it from time to time, or maybe she'd been looking at it since he came back, thinking about him and saw that.
My final thought on the show was just Iron Fist as it exists in the comics. His story isn't really a new one. Even what we got in this, it seems on the surface that's the perfect time to adapt this storyline because, and not just for the Defenders, but because we've enjoyed these types of stories already with Doctor Strange, Batman Begins, and Arrow. These are the same story, and But they had a chance to do something different with it. And even if they didn't, even if they just copied any one of those stories, it still would have been significantly better than what we got.
The format that they already had with the other 3 successful shows.
Yeah.
That they've done on Netflix.
Yeah, and I mean, really, if you think about it, the other characters, what are their powers? They're just punching good. You know, Iron Fist, it could have been so much more with the martial arts. He really should have been facing off against so many different kinds of disciplines, so many different kinds of bad guys. You know, spend the money on... We know they can spend the money. They've spent money on a lot of things on these previous shows, so the money was not spent on this. I don't know where it was. Maybe that opening scene that just teases this great martial arts action, and we don't get any of it.
No, it's so
Has
bad.
there been, because I know it's been in Daredevil, I know it's been in Luke Cage, I don't know if did Jessica Jones have a hall fight scene?
No, she had a great fight scene in her office. I think there was like a lot of people that just kept coming. She was breaking them faces into things, throwing them into walls.
Because it felt like in every one of the Netflix shows so far,
they got a hallway fight.
The hallway fight scene.
Yeah, and
this one there was 2. There was one at the beginning, which looked lame as hell.
Was that with the hatchets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is disappointing. Later, when he's doing it with his buddy from Kung Lao.
Yeah, that wasn't so bad.
That one was better. And I was like, all right, finally we're getting a decent...
It's like, but look, the show's done.
But the show's done, exactly. There was so much potential
Not quite
for the
done.
show.
It wasn't quite done because his buddy hadn't decided to start trying to kill him yet.
Yeah.
I mean, his jealousy of Danny getting the Iron Fist position, that was pretty obvious from the moment he was brought on screen.
Of course. Right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing to have in a story, but the way they handled it was terrible.
That explains why he's behaving that at the end of like, you're not fulfilling your role, you're not doing your duty.
Yeah, but even he had dumb dialogue
about this guy in this position.
Yeah, and he still made dumb things. Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was
I want to kill my childhood friend who's done nothing but help me out.
Even though I helped validate his existence back in the company.
The whole show, we just keep following this bumbling idiot stumble from one boring human encounter to another. It was just so disappointing how bad it was. Even though I've never seen the comics before, I've never read a single Iron Fist comic, I still had expectations from it, at least to be as good as the previous ones. How did they mess it up so bad? I can't recommend this to anyone. No. Not Marvel fans, not superhero fans, not even Kung Fu fans. No one. Not even hardcore Iron Fist fans should watch this thing. Unless out of some...
with the characters,
maybe some morbid curiosity to see how poorly they translated your character. You know, how maybe you might go back and watch Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
So, do you think maybe we should go read the comic books and maybe this is how he is in the comics and this is like true to comic
from what
books?
I've seen him in the even if that is how he is in the comic books, it's not entertaining on the big screen. So then he's going to have to stay in the comic books, unfortunately. Like, that's not everything translates from one media to another.
No, for sure.
But
there's no way he's like that.
I don't think he's like this in the comic books. At the end of the show, so I was thinking about it because I finished it yesterday, and then I was just trying to think about Danny's character. If they had emphasized this point, it may have changed the perspective and actually made it a more interesting show. If you look at the fact that Danny Reed is a 15-year-old boy who has been emotionally and physically damaged for the past 15 years. He's still a kid.
Yeah.
He now has money. He now has this enormous power and skills and even a romance in his life, and he does not have any of the skills to deal with this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But if that's what they were trying to do, which I get the sense sometimes based on some dialogue, like even Claire Colleen was like, no, you shouldn't kill him because you'll lose your innocence. And it's like, I haven't gotten the sense that he's all that innocent. I've gotten the sense that he's dumb. But I know what you're saying. It feels like those storylines were there and they wanted to do those, but they did them so poorly.
But they never fleshed it out. Yeah. I mean, when he gets together with Claire, that was probably his first relationship with a woman. Sorry, Colleen. That was his first relationship with a woman.
Definitely.
That kind of gets ignored. Like,
they didn't even bring it up.
I mean, unless in Kung Lung there's a lot of women as well. I didn't really get it's a monastery with priests. I'm not thinking that there's going to be a lot of chances to hook up.
Men.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, and we're even saying we think it is, but we don't know because the show didn't go into any of it.
It teased so much and then just dropped it.
And then drops it. Yeah.
Even the relationship with Colleen was the same way. Like, they had that night together and then all of a sudden, like, cold shoulder the next day.
It was just kind of a little bit awkward the next day.
But, like, not awkward.
Makes sense because he's never been in a relationship
but not that.
before.
It wasn't that type of awkward, though. It was I don't really know who you are awkward. It's like, how the fuck do you, like, where is this coming from? Like,
I kind of liked near the end of episode 12, which should have been the last episode. Well, all of them should have been the last episode, where everything seems to be going okay with him and the world, you know, and he wakes up in the morning with Colleen and they do their Tai Chi together, and it's very peaceful and very nice, and almost brought a smile to me for the briefest moment. But then I remembered I was watching Iron Fist and that it was a piece of crap, and a lot of bad, stupid things happened. Like, for some reason, the DEA were sent after him, as if that's gonna be harder for him to fight off than ninjas, like a secret ninja clan.
Yeah, and like, why is the DEA coming after him? Like, what evidence could they possibly get that would cause them to storm
evidence
the
that Harold
dojo?
gave him? Because, you know, like, Harold wanted him out of the picture, obviously.
But you're not gonna. The DEA's not gonna do that. The DEA's gonna send their attorneys because it's a fucking billionaire. They're not gonna send in the goon squad to take him down.
Lots of potential, a lot of ideas that just never got fleshed out.
Yeah. Yep. Very, very disappointing.
So when the Defenders comes, I'm going to watch it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But as a result of this series, I'm wondering if they're going to be playing down Danny's role in it. Well, I mean,
they've already been filming it, though, before they even got the reviews.
But I mean, at the end of this, Danny had gone back to Kung Lao.
No, Kung Lao was destroyed.
I know Kung Lao was... Well, no, Kung Lao's
missing
not there.
Or something. Yeah.
Well, no, the entrance is destroyed.
The passage is gone.
Which I'm like, God, does this mean they're setting up a season 2? I really hope they don't do a season 2.
They definitely are. But here's what I don't understand. So we don't care about Kung Lao because they didn't talk about it at all. And they obviously it's destroyed. The way is destroyed. But like, what was the way? We never got to see it. So who knows?
That's another example of them bringing things up and dropping it.
Was when him and his, I can't even remember the name of the character now, but him and his brother, his monk brother, let's say, were standing at the wall, saying, "Well, the way is still clear." Or the way is
still open.
It's still open. Like, there's nobody coming.
Sometimes we got some nice glimpses of something that could have been better. Like at the end, when he's fighting Harold and he looks up at him and he sees the lights, these red flashing emergency lights, because it's on the roof, and he sees them as the eyes of this mysterious thing, the dragon that he had to fight to get the Iron Fist. That would have been great. But like one brief flash,
one frame of it,
one frame of genius is not good enough to redeem an entire show of nonsense.
And it would have been okay, like if we had these hints scattered through the show of this is stuff that we could be coming late, like wanting you to get more, as long as they satisfied us with what they were giving us, and what we were getting wasn't any good.
Was no good.
So we were left wanting more from what they teased us, and not enjoying what they gave us.
Yep. I think so. We all didn't like it, and we're not going to recommend it to anybody.
No.
All right, let's go on here.
All right, this week in our 5.5 list, we are going to cover comic books that were turned into TV shows.
Yes. Starting off right off the bat, we want to talk about it's 1966 Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward.
You can't talk about comic book shows without talking about this.
No.
This was the Batman that I grew up with. This is the first Batman that I knew.
Well, and it's been
before I knew what Batman could be. This is what I thought Batman was supposed to be.
This is it.
This show's got canon in so many other shows.
Oh yeah,
like
it's always recognized.
Yeah, and just even though it was 1966, I guess none of us were born at that point, but we still enjoyed it as reruns as kids, early mornings and everything after school.
We didn't
Simpsons,
get any new
Family
Batman.
Guy, all have nods to it.
Yeah,
right. Like
Adam
West
in Chris Nolan's series of Batman.
It gets
the ending was a reproduction of the original Batman movie.
Yeah.
They made a lot of great jokes about it in the Lego Batman movie with the shark repellent.
Yep.
And even just the pow, bam, punch effects that were flying on the screen.
There's elements of this show that are still relevant today and are still recognized today.
Yeah?
No, sorry, maybe not relevant, but recognized. Mm-hmm. Right? Like there was groundwork that was laid out from this show that, I mean, what does Robin say?
Holy something,
whatever.
Batman.
Holy blank, right? In the 1980s Tim Burton's Batman movie. What does Robin say?
Holy rusted metal Batman.
I groaned in the theater when I heard that.
In our brains. It has been drilled into our brains.
They corrected it, but the fact that it came up, I hated and then loved later. Mm-hmm. Just the fact, because it's still recognized.
It's still a thing. It's canon.
Yeah. Have any of you guys revisited it at all lately?
A little bit. I've watched a few episodes. I mean, they're done well. Like it always gets you back, right? Because it's always a two-parter. It's always, hey, the first episode introduces the character and the villain and what's going to go wrong. Second episode is the conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like on Netflix or something at all?
I don't think
I guess
it's on
it just
Netflix,
came out,
no.
or not just, but like a year ago came out with a Blu-ray box set,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they just started releasing it for home.
It's great. I've got a lot of great fond memories of it. I don't know if it necessarily holds up, but I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch again anyway, just for nostalgic reasons. Yeah.
It's like I said, it laid the groundwork, I think, for what we know.
And Adam West has a lot to thank for that. He's in everything.
Yeah.
Adam West will always be
himself,
remembered as Batman. He's my first Batman for now and forever.
There's the animated movie coming out soon with the two of them doing their voices again. They're doing a Batman 1966.
That's because they've relaunched the comic books. There's a comic book series called Batman 66 based on the TV shows. They're now talking about Wonder Woman 77.
Oh, very cool.
In the same
they're doing
vein.
that in X-Men 92 or something like that. It's like 90s X-Men comics.
Nice.
Like new stories for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Next thing on our list is The Walking Dead.
Yes. Now,
This is a set of graphic novels that have been turned into a TV show some people may have heard of.
Yeah. So it was the fourth most watched show of 2016.
I believe
it is the highest and most popular and highest watched comic book related show out there right now.
For sure.
Yeah. I absolutely
Most people
love
probably
it.
don't even realize it's based on a comic book.
No, probably not.
It's a zombie show.
Yeah, though I'd love to see what the comic book sales numbers are like after this show came out. I'm sure that skyrocketed for a little bit.
Yeah.
I like I said, I'm absolutely loving it. I recently got back into it because when I was first watching it, I think it's on season 7 now. Season 1 I absolutely loved. And then season 2, first episode I thought was garbage and I never watched it again. And then I read that you can just go ahead and skip season 2, and I did. I completely skipped all of season 2 because in the first episode of season 3, all the characters reminisce throughout the whole thing about what's happened, and you kind of get to catch up if you pay attention. And ever since then, I just binged it like crazy. It's on Netflix. I would come home, throw it on, and fall asleep to it. I love it. But I think, Dave, you were saying that you've fallen off it recently.
Yeah, I'm 2 episodes. I'm 2 seasons behind. I'm where they started kind of developing the community inside the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Alexandria?
Terminus.
No,
Terminus is the bad one.
Terminus is the bad one. Alexandria, I think it is. Yeah. Where they were like they're organized.
Yeah, they're the skilled outsiders who can protect them.
Yes,
and help them get up to
it's them integrating into it. So where they started that. I finished that season because that was season 4. Season 5 starts with them in that environment. I am up to date in the comic books, so I think part of the reason why I've dropped off of it is because I know what's coming. I know everything that's coming. Yeah, so when people were talking about him coming, I'm excited. I want to see him, but I feel like I've kind of got to get through some of this other material, and it's dragging. And
what helps is to binge it, to just watch them straight, and don't set aside time to watch it straight. Because if you just watch one episode and come back to it a week later, I did that with
Iron Fist. I didn't want it.
The difference is Iron Fist is pretty bad.
It was
Walking Dead.
Iron Fist wouldn't have been good in little bits or in big bit.
Even in the slow episodes of Walking Dead, it is incredibly well written. There's some deep character moments that you get that are very emotional, very well acted, and well written. And so if you can binge it,
so maybe
it's the best way to go.
Because I hear they're always have great things to say about the show. They've got a show about this show, just talking about the show, right?
Yeah, it's also one of the most highest rated shows on TV is the show talking about the show.
There's actually, I'll have to see if I can find it so I can put a link up, but there is a YouTube show that talks about the show that talks about the show.
Oh, is there? There's a Talking Dead?
Yeah. It's
nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The makeup and the visual effects are just fantastic. It is so gory. And it's and you feel it, each one, and you just cringe, and it just doesn't get old.
So, in terms of the gore,
right?
Because I also heard there was comments that people were like, "Oh my god, it's too graphic, it's too gory."
It's wonderful.
So they tried to scale it down. Ash versus the Evil Dead. I've only seen a few episodes. Is by far the most gratuitously goriest show I have seen. There is rarely a scene where someone is not getting covered in blood.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I should put that show on my radar because half of what I love so much about The Walking Dead is its incredible makeup job. It's so realistic and terrifying.
I stopped watching The Walking Dead because I got tired of Carl.
He gets better.
Is he
Carl
dead
gets-
yet? He's not dead?
No, he gets better. I really like him as a character now. He develops so well. He's not a kid anymore because obviously kids, they grow up fast.
Especially on TV shows.
Yeah, he's not a very young child anymore. He's very mature, and the story arcs that he gets are very, very good.
But he's still alive?
Yeah, but he
Haven't
lost
killed
an
him
eye.
yet? He lost an
Yeah,
eye?
he only has one eye.
Aw.
Oh,
Made
made
him-
him-
That happened. Okay.
Yeah, it made him a bit of a badass too when it happened.
All right.
Should have lost his tongue.
I remember that.
It was
storyline.
so good. It was exactly like the comics. It was right out of it. Like same shots, same everything, which is also what I'm really liking about it. Is
Well, I guess
how close
I'm gonna
sticking.
jump back into The
Yeah, I'm
Walking
gonna
Dead
have to
again.
revisit that.
All right, what's next on our
Next
list?
one is
Next
Arrow.
is one of my favorites.
Sorry,
That's okay.
Stepped
Arrow.
all over the punchline
that's
on
all
that
right.
one.
it's one of your favorites though.
It is one of my favorites. The Arrow, as you mentioned. I think this was the first reintroduction of this genre coming back to TV. It's where the CW and WB took their first fantastic steps with DC characters and started showing them what they should be doing in the movies. Because the Arrow,
it's dark,
I
but
mean,
it's also
dark.
got some brightness to it.
like Felicity, she's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's got some very good character development.
Lots
His
of great
costumes, he's
characters.
running around in a green suit.
To be honest,
you
it's
can't
what
go wrong.
Iron Fist should have been. Like that's
Yeah.
Like they had a template for it.
Yeah.
They just had to follow.
Yeah.
the
This,
template.
even though they kind of copied Lost, I guess, by keep jumping back to his time in the past
In
and
the
how
time
it
on the
relates
island,
to the
so there's
modern
always
day.
kind of two storylines going on and
Yeah.
how it's influencing today.
Yeah, which again is another show I think you kind of need to binge because otherwise it's painful to have to just watch one episode and like nothing happens because they had to spend so much time on two storylines. I felt every now and then an episode will feel, and it's like Game of Thrones where they have to jump between 4 different storylines. It feels like no one actually advances in any way.
Don't you dare say anything negative about Game
There's
of
a lot of
Thrones.
bad things about Game of Thrones.
Perfection.
Game of Thrones' best way to watch is to binge it as well, because otherwise it's too painful to have to wait a whole week to see what the heck they resolve the 5 minutes that they introduced in the last episode. And so Arrow, I felt that as well sometimes, but it's not bad if you just watch them back to back.
And they've done it well, where they're slowly introducing the ideas of the different unusual characters. Like the first couple of seasons with Arrow, they don't go into any metas. It's all
meta-humans, you mean?
Meta-humans,
people with powers.
So in the Marvel universe, they're referred to as mutants generally. In the DC universe, they're referred to as metas. Metas is a broad classification about anybody with super abilities, whether it's magic-based, genetic, whatever.
Yeah,
They're called
superpowers.
meta. So they kind of avoid the metas at the start. They deal with people that are very good at what they do. So they deal with assassins and stuff like that.
People planning the downfall of the city
Yeah.
or something, kind of like this, because kind of things you would see Batman face off against sometimes when he's not facing his
very
rogues
much
gallery.
like Batman in the terms that it's very dark. He's very he's very solemn all the time.
Yeah, he's very brooding.
Never,
He's got this past, and
he never smiles.
it's great. It really was. When I first started watching it, it was like watching Batman, the TV, like a new Batman TV show, one that's meant for me and my age at that point. It's no longer the 1966 silly Batman. It's now this dark, brooding character.
And they don't lose you because they don't try to go with any extreme type of. They don't go strong into the comic book type characters yet. They just let it slowly play out.
Yep, and it. As you had told me, it really is sort of responsible for the reintroduction of that superhero genre to TV.
I mean, they've leapt so much. Like Supergirl, I don't think would have been a show if
couldn't have
the
stood
Arrow
on its
was
own.
not-
Flash especially
the
couldn't
Flash,
have.
of course. But now we've got Flash, we've got Supergirl, we've got League of
The Legends of Tomorrow, and even not just them. Yeah, and even not just the DC ones. We're getting Marvel shows, Legion. We're getting obviously The Walking Dead. We're getting all these other shows. Like people are looking to comic books as something that's viable.
As their blueprint, as their storyboard.
And we have a lot. We have Arrow.
Show.
Yeah, we have Arrow to thank for that. We
think
really
so.
do.
Yeah.
It came out even before Daredevil, which is the next one we want to talk about, which is my personal favorite superhero TV show ever made. I love the character Daredevil, and I even like the Ben Affleck one. It's hard to watch sometimes because it's pretty bad, but the Daredevil Netflix show I thought hit it perfectly. It got everything right. I absolutely love it. I've watched it over and over. Even season 2 I thought was excellent with Elektra, and Punisher was the best Punisher I've ever seen.
Very well done, Punisher.
This show is darker than Arrow. Because it's Netflix, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They can have crazy dark adult situations. I keep saying dark, but there's no other better way to explain it. There's
the whole show
violence
real.
and
they make it
real.
grounded. They don't make it, you know what I mean?
It's
like
not
ridiculous
fanciful.
with it. Yeah. It's very
and it's
you
what
could see
Daredevil
this
should
happening.
be.
Yeah.
Well, it's also very dark because it all takes place at night.
Yes, and he doesn't have
And
to
he's
see.
blind, so it's, you know.
The whole show is black. It's just sound effects.
That's
We
right.
don't actually see anything. It's incredibly realistic.
It's a first person view
yeah.
of what's going on.
But, I mean, you guys like Daredevil, right?
Oh,
sure.
Daredevil's fantastic.
Yeah.
It spawned Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
Luke
you're right. I mean, if it
Cage,
didn't do well,
some
we
other
wouldn't have
show we
had
don't
all these
want
other
to bring
shows.
up again.
If they do a season
You know what?
2 of Iron Fist, I'm not watching it. Like,
No.
we're not going to review it for this show. I will not watch it.
definitely
I want
No.
to stop. Like,
I'm going to go so far as to say that Defenders will be my last Marvel Netflix show if it follows the same vein. I won't go back to another Luke Cage or Jessica Jones or
not even Punisher or something. I mean, they're completely different, right? Completely different creative teams and everything on those shows.
I'll definitely revisit their shows, but
Obviously,
no, I'm not going
obviously,
back
it
to
wasn't
Iron
the
Fist.
same people who made Daredevil that made Iron Fist. Like that
No,
is
because
painfully
Daredevil
obvious.
had better. Why does Daredevil have better fight scenes
Than the
a
Kung Fu show.
about a kung fu master?
Yeah. No, but I
It
mean,
makes
what
no
I mean
sense.
is if they hold on to this, if they hold on to the same team, because the team is obviously different, but if this team does,
Oh, if they do what, a Defenders season 2 with the same 4 people?
then I'm
I mean, Danny Rand is that much of a hated character to you? I mean, I don't
Just
think
the
it's that bad.
No, I think
I mean, he is bad, but I don't think
And they're
the
not the type
team-
of characters I think that would hang out often.
No, but I mean, like I'm talking about like the writers and the showrunners and all
Okay.
that. If those people are involved in it, I don't want to.
Well, no, I mean, I think you got to take the show. You got to take them one show at a time, right? Look at the creative team, see what they do, give it an episode. If you like it, watch it. If you don't, don't.
One episode.
I mean, if someone tells me, "Hey, watch this show," and I find out that it's written by the same people who wrote fucking Iron Fist, then I'm not going to watch it. I will very reluctantly watch the first episode. I won't even give it one episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was ready to turn Iron Fist off after about 10 minutes before we got to the opening credits.
Yeah, but Daredevil, I binged that when that came
Oh,
out.
Daredevil
I
was so
I
good.
woke up early the morning because I had to go to work and I had to leave at 7 a.m. But I woke up and I watched an
watched the
episode in the
first
morning,
episode.
and then
Yeah, I
I
did too.
came home and just the rest.
Every episode, I was like, yes, more of this.
They got him so right.
Yes.
And the actor, at first glance, you wouldn't picture him for Daredevil or Matt Murdock, but he pulled
But
them both.
he plays them
off so
both
well.
very well.
So I've actually had, my wife has watched, she never saw Daredevil. She see it. Her introduction was Jessica Jones. She liked Jessica Jones. She walked.
Great intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She watched Luke Cage because she saw who was going to be playing Luke Cage. So she was fine with that.
Yeah. Eye candy.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I've got to get her back, like especially after her experience with the Iron Fist. She got 3 episodes in. Danny got dropped off a building, and she's like, "I don't care. You enjoy the rest." She didn't even ask what happened to him. Okay, and just in a show like that, like it's the Immortal Iron Fist. I know we're bashing on him so much. 3rd episode. Oh no, did he die? Of course he didn't die.
He's
Why?
the
'Cause
immortal
the
weapon.
show's about him.
It's also
So
called
we know
The
he's
Immortal.
okay.
Yeah.
And-
the show's about him.
Yes, actually, that's a good one. You're the Immortal Iron Fist? I'm like, I guess so. Does that mean I can't die? No, you can still die. It's
what?
just that the power comes from person to person. Yeah.
like,
What the
okay.
hell did I get on this job for?
Yeah, it's.
But yeah,
not-
no,
can
I've
we
got to
not
show her
bring that up
Daredevil
again?
because
Yeah, we're
Daredevil's
not-
so good.
Yeah.
And we won't ever talk about Iron Fist again.
Oh,
but
yeah,
what we
that's-
will talk
that's a
about
lie.
is
The Flash.
My
another one.
favorite TV show, right? My favorite TV show, period, right now.
Really.
This,
eh?
Yes.
this is why we're doing this list, because you've brought this show up every
I've brought it up
single
Yes.
every
episode.
time.
Yes. When we were talking about what to talk about at the end of the show, you're like, I don't know, still loving Flash.
Still love the
So,
Flash.
so
We
here,
can
here's
watch
what we're
Good
gonna
Flash.
do. Me and Ryan are just gonna take a walk, and you can handle
you
the
go on
next
for about an
5-10
hour about
minutes. Go for
Flash.
it.
So maybe I can convince you, because Ryan, you said you've watched a few episodes.
And I
Mike, you
enjoyed
haven't
them. I
watched
just
this at
haven't
all.
gotten back
No,
to it.
I watched the first season.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the whole
Okay.
first season.
Some of the second season.
Wow.
My issue with the Flash is not a problem with the show; it's the problem with timing. I don't have 4 hours a week to watch. I got too many shows on the go to watch.
So you don't
4
have to
hours.
watch all the shows.
But
You don't
they-
have to watch
I know,
Supergirl
but
and
they-
Arrow and everything. You can watch the Flash
But
on
they
its
keep
own.
doing mixes in together.
Yeah, but
So
I feel
anytime
like
they mix
can
it
still-
together, it's at the beginning, previously on and it'll say The Flash, or previously
really?
on The Flash and Supergirl, or previously on The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow, or whatever, if it matters.
Yeah.
If it doesn't matter, then it just happens.
And I just feel like I want to see it. So I'm going to wait until they're done.
The way I see it, it's
and
like
I'll sit down for a month and I'll blitz.
it's
through.
like comic books where you'll read a Batman comic and then, someone will say something and then there'll be a little asterisk. And in those little yellow box, it'll say, as seen in Superman number 121. And it's
and
like...
then you want to go and check
you
out
could
Superman.
go check it out if you want, and then you'll
But
end up reading all of Superman, but you don't have to.
But I remember watching Legends of Tomorrow.
Yep.
When the first episode came out, and they were clearly talking about something that I was supposed to have known, and I didn't understand.
I'll agree that it helps
until
for
they
that
looped
show
back.
because that show is made up of the secondary characters from all
the
these
other
different
ones.
shows.
And
So
at least in
that one,
the start of that show, because that show spawns off of the other characters.
Yeah, and that was the most clear example of what I'm talking about.
Right.
But that does exist throughout this entire universe, which is great. But I ain't got that kind of time.
Yeah.
So if you just watch The Flash, I think you're still going to be satisfied. It is very much comics brought to life, right? Like you said, Ryan, how in comics it's something like, as seen in this episode of this, it is very much a grouped universe, but it doesn't. You don't have to have seen those. You don't have to have read The Arrow or watched The Arrow or Supergirl or whatever to enjoy it. You'll still enjoy it on its own. And they've brought in Grodd, King Shark.
That's what I was going to ask. Like compared to Arrow, which is more
Arrow,
gloomy.
it's been very dark. So this very much plays out. Arrow
Tried to
and the
use
Flash.
a different word other than dark.
Sorry, I was going to say Arrow and Flash play out very much in terms of Batman, Superman.
There you go.
Batman was the brooding character. So is Arrow. The Flash is
the
very
more
much
optimistic
like very
character?
optimistic, very very bright, and everything happens during the day most of the time. It seems
like
on the
Supergirl.
Flash.
I really like Supergirl. I watched that first season.
Supergirl's very cute.
It's a lot of fun.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. I like that show, but it's not on my top list. It's not on my high list. But I watch it every week. The Flash, I love it. Every episode I watch, they'll bring something up, and it just makes me smile. They've gone to Earth 2. They've gone to Earth 3. They've
done all the silly
Golden
stuff.
Age Flash with the the winged
helmet.
helmet.
With the helmet?
Yeah,
The
and had it make sense. It doesn't seem out of place. In fact, some of these reveals you get, you're like, oh my God, he's this guy? This is
And you know what
amazing.
I've been loving is that it has been bringing out all the great cosplay. When I was at Fan Expo last year, just all the flashes. Every single one of them, all the different costumes, and there'd be kids pointing them out, being like, "Look, it's the helmet
It's that
Flash."
one. It's this one.
I'm like, oh, the kids
if you're
know.
only gonna watch one comic book show,
Makes me want
watch
to have
The
kids.
Flash. just
Make a total geek out of them. I can't wait, just for that. And then when they grow up and they start getting mouthy, get out of the house.
You're like, you're done.
You're done unless you can, swear allegiance to Star Wars or you're out. So that's our top 5. What's our point 5?
Point 5, I thought would be a good idea to talk about Mad TV.
Is that a comic book?
It's definitely a comic
is
book.
Kind of. It was
It's a
it was a
magazine.
humor magazine
Yeah.
that was turned into a TV show.
And had tons of comics in it.
It
Spy
was
versus
full of
Spy.
comic strips,
Spy,
right?
yeah.
That's the idea. And the Mad TV magazine had a lot of comic strips.
They had a lot of comic strips.
Yeah.
Spy versus Spy was one of the big ones.
It was one of the Spy versus Spy was in pretty much every episode. Every
episode and every issue.
Every
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. It was just a lot of fun. Will Sasso was in it. They had some great characters. It was competing, I think, in a time slot. It was half an hour before Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
So
No,
they
it actually at one point it started 5 minutes after or 5 minutes before Saturday Night Live.
Oh, did it? Okay, I thought it was at 11.
Directly.
Because it was like at 11.
No, it was before.
Saturday Night Live was 11:30.
Because I used to watch Mad TV and then get
for the
into
first
Mad,
half hour,
and then get to SNL. Actually, it'd be the other way. I would watch Mad TV all the way through and then jump in half hour late into SNL.
Oh, okay.
Because I enjoyed Mad TV actually a lot.
I just remember switching back and forth between the two, and then getting in trouble because my parents didn't like that. They just wanted to see the commercials.
They at one point they had musical guests. They featured Corky and the Juice Pigs for several episodes.
There was a game. I have a board game, a Mad TV board or Mad Magazine board game.
Really?
Yeah. It was.
I did not know that existed.
Yeah, it's great. It's called the What Me Worry board game or something.
Because that's what Alfred
E. Newman
would always say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a very frustrating game to play because it's purposefully frustrating. You'll get mad at other people and yourself and want to flip the game. But it's a blast. I loved it as a kid. I loved Mad TV. I loved Stuart, and I thought he was really funny. Or Miss
Stuart.
Swan.
Miss Swan.
Yeah, looking like a man.
Don't. I can say that to my wife. Just walk by and go, look what I can do. And then do whatever thing I feel like. And she starts laughing. She knows exactly what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, I didn't know there was so much comic connections, though, to Mad Magazine.
Definitely qualifies for our 0.5 list
I
for
think
sure.
so.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All
Well,
right. I think that's our list for this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'd just like to wrap the show up, though, with going over some of the things that we've seen or read or watched, or I already said that with seen. Things that we've done this week that we want to talk about. We just call it Shifting Focus Recommends. In my case, I'd like to mention Beauty and the Beast. I got a chance to try to go out and see that. I actually went to Toronto, where they've got the one and only 4DX theater in Canada. That's the one that has the rain and the snow and the fire and the lightning and the seats that don't just rock a bit. They throw you. Like if you're not holding on, they can throw you right off the seat. However, and I tried to see this already with Rogue One, but none of the effects were working, and I really wanted to watch the movie, so I just sat there, obviously, and didn't leave the theater because the 3D was still working. But none of the effects worked, and they gave us free vouchers for that.
This is for Rogue One or for
Yeah, for Rogue One. Beauty and the Beast, though, however, about 30 minutes into the movie, the fire alarm goes off, and we have to evacuate the building, and it's like a 7-story building. It's in Toronto, and we have to go all the way down the emergency exit stairs, go outside. By the time we were outside, though, they had taken care of it, and they let us back up and went upstairs, and I had to wait in a line for half an hour to get my money back. So I traded in essentially vouchers from Rogue One for vouchers from Beauty and the Beast. So I still got these vouchers that are worth $25 a pop because it's really expensive. And I still haven't seen a 4DX movie in its entirety. The movie, though, Beauty and the Beast, was amazing. It was wonderful, magical. The cast was perfect, was spot on. Emma Watson's Belle, she could have been better, but I kind of just blame the overuse of CGI for her occasional flat performances. She would just sort of stare blankly at something with no emotion when I'm like, woman, like, this is craziness happening in front of you. Get a little more excited. But, with this $170 million opening weekend that it had, which is more than Rogue One did last year.
Wow.
Yeah, this live action remake freight train that Disney is on is just completely unstoppable at this point. So
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I liked Beauty and the Beast. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they make. I did sort of rant a bit about it because I think that they want to do Lion King. I think that's a terrible idea because it's all animals. It's all animals, so it's all going to be animated.
So it's going to be animated.
So they're going to remake an animated movie with another animated movie.
Yeah.
You can't really call it live action
unless they go the Broadway route.
And have people in costumes.
Like they do for the Lion King the musical.
Which is a great musical as well, but I'm sure they won't. I mean, if you saw Jungle Book, the only thing that was real in that, not even the leaves or rocks were real. It was just the boy.
Right.
Not even the water was real.
No, it was all green screens.
I actually still haven't seen Jungle Book or Pete's Dragon.
I haven't seen Pete's Dragon, but I don't. But Jungle Book was good, but it was just all animation. Anyway, I actually made a longer video about this, about my feelings. If you guys go to my video channel, Geeksplaining at YouTube, and check it out.
Why have you stopped posting podcasts for Geeksplaining?
No, the podcast was just the same audio.
Oh, okay.
It was just
because I had the feed, and I was just like, where'd it go?
No, because I didn't want to bother anymore.
We're gonna edit this out,
we're definitely
right?
gonna edit this out.
Come on, I was trying to direct you more traffic.
Yeah, no. Then also last night I went and I saw the movie Life. Saw that with Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just this fantastic mindless space thriller. Like, have you ever seen Sunshine or Event Horizon?
Nice.
It was just exactly like those. I loved every minute of it. It was so frightening. Edge of my seat.
Extremely predictable.
Yes,
Sorry.
It was. It is. It honestly is. But I mean, so is Sunshine and Event Horizon. So are all of these space horror movies. They are entirely predictable. It's just about, knocking one person off at a time, and it did a great job of it.
Nice.
I'm going to see Power Rangers next, probably on Tuesday, I think. So I'll have my review of that next week. But one thing I also want to bring up, if I can, which is a new show they just added to Netflix. It's not a Netflix original, but it's called One Punch Man.
I've heard a lot of
It's an anime.
This. Okay.
It's only in Japanese with English subtitles, but you know what? The dialogue's not what's important. What's important is the action. And you know what? If anyone feels like watching Iron Fist, don't. Go watch One Punch Man instead. In this anime, it's a superhero who just wins all his fights with one punch, which is kind of Iron Fist, I guess, when he gets his Iron Fist working. But he is just completely bored with being a hero because of it. And it's all played so comedically. The fight scenes are just this series of very hilarious villain encounters that are just have these incredibly convoluted and cliche backstories that are hilarious, and it's played for laughs, and he's just completely bored by all this. And what's great is that at the end of the first episode, he's actually awoken from sleeping one morning by this just attack from these subterranean dwelling monsters, like mole men or something, but a lot more scarier, terrifying things, super strong. They're killing everything, and they tell him overnight they have utterly decimated Earth's population. They've killed 70% of the world overnight while he was sleeping. And this just awakens in him.
He's a deep sleeper.
Yeah, right? He just awakens in him his duty of a hero is completely reinvigorated, and he just has this insane knockout, no-holds-barred battle across the earth against these invaders of different sizes and strengths. It's just so brutally violent, blood everywhere. He's in his PJs that get essentially eviscerated by the end of all the fights. He's just down to his boxers, and it's just... I won't give away how it ends, but it is hilarious. It is just such a funny ending, and that's just the first episode. It is brutally violent, absolute blast to watch. I highly recommend it. Don't watch Iron Fist.
How many seasons?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I mean, it's Japanese anime. They typically, I don't think, really have seasons. They'll do like a 10 episode or 12 or 25 or 50 straight every week, and then they'll break for a few years and then do more or whatever. It's more like the British way of doing things, I guess. But
quality over quantity.
You know what? Just give that first episode a watch. If you're not cracking up and enjoying just the insanity on display, then that's fine. Don't watch anymore. But definitely you'll have had a better time than Iron Fist, even if you hate One Punch Man.
Oh no, I'll definitely check that out. That sounds good.
Well, Goodreads told me that I would enjoy Blackout by Connie Wells.
Did you?
Well, I'm in the middle of it, and it's kind of slow. So the synopsis is, in the future, we invent time travel, and a group of people called the historians use time travel to go back and study history.
Right.
They're not able to make changes, or at least changes that would change history. But they can go back and they can relive history.
They're just studying
and study it. Okay. And the reason that we don't know about it and we haven't met someone from the future is because they actually were making changes, and now time travel is no longer possible.
Possible or not allowed? Or?
Possible. It's not like they break the ability to time travel because which seems like a really cool idea.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
But I'm like 3/4 of the way through the book, and all I've done so far is learn more about World War II. Like I could have just read the Wikipedia page. So it's like it's the character development is overly thorough, I guess.
All right.
So it's kind of...
Is this under your recommends or not recommends?
I don't want to really firmly say one way or the other because I am kind of enjoying it.
All right.
But at the same time, I'm getting kind of nervous that it's not going to end, and I'm picked up a book that goes on for the rest of my life at this point. It just seems like I'm still in the first, like in the opening act. And I've been reading it for like a week and a half now. I'm probably where am I at? I'm nearly finished.
Okay.
And yeah.
So are you gonna go through anyway and finish it? Anyway?
I'm gonna finish it anyway. I'm hoping I ended up liking it. But yeah, I'm 2/3 of the way through, and I'm still in the opening act.
Are there more books to the series? Like, is it a series?
I believe it is, actually. I think it's part of a trilogy, but I think this is actually the first book of the trilogy.
And I guess the way it ends is going to sort of determine for you whether or not you'll bother with more of it.
Yeah, I mean, they better break time travel by the end of this book, because at this rate, it seems like they're never going to do that.
You'll have to give us a follow-up review.
Yeah, I think you'll have to talk about it next episode.
Yeah, so I would say I am enjoying it. I don't see how
It sounds like a really cool concept.
Yeah, that's what got me. The concept got me. But
I'm a big fan of time travel stories.
Yeah, it's a group of 4. Well, okay, that's another thing. They don't do a great job of introducing the time traveling characters always. So they introduced 3 of them, and you meet them in the future as they're getting ready to go back.
Okay.
And they're talking about, and then all of a sudden you meet one of the characters in the past. And you don't realize that she's from the future right away because they don't tell you she's from the future. But it's from her point of view, and all the characters' points of view are...
Well, that sounds cool, though.
But it was just it's poorly done.
Okay.
You're trying to figure out which one of the characters that you've met is this person.
Oh, okay.
Because they change their names and everything. When they go back, they change.
Right.
They go back. They're not hiding. They go back and they become a shopkeeper. Or they become a nurse. Or they become a nanny. Or they become a war correspondent. Like they go back and they
Someone
fill
that
a
would
role.
fit in. Right.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like you're in the future. In one chapter, you're in the future. In the next chapter, you're back in the past. But you're not in any of the roles they talked about in that future. You're a fourth character that they brought up, and it just kind of like help me out here. This is an extremely confusing premise. There's one character.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're dealing with time travel, you got to be very careful with.
Yeah, there's
with
one
what
character.
you portray.
His name is Michael, and he's going to be in Dover during the Dunkirk. He's going to be in Pearl Harbor. He's going to be Battle of the Bulge and somewhere else. So he has a different name for each of those runs. And
So yeah, that gets
he's
confusing.
he's going to go to Pearl Harbor first. And so they're talking to you about I can't remember his name for Pearl Harbor, but they're talking about the guy who's going to go to Pearl Harbor, and then he can't go to Pearl Harbor because of some reason that they haven't fleshed out yet. But the guy in charge has said that you can't go to Pearl Harbor, you're going to have to go to Dunkirk first. So he's going to Dunkirk, and he's a different character now. And you got to follow that. So then you have this primary character now has 3 names.
Oh boy.
Which is you can follow, but when you introduce a 4th main character without giving you that backstory,
The context of the name and stuff.
Yeah.
you start thinking, wait a second, is this one of the main 3 characters? Because no, there's actually 4 main characters.
Well,
So-
hopefully when you get to the end, maybe
I'm hoping-
there's justification for playing it. Like there's a
Yeah, I'm hoping that
literary device they were trying
I'm hoping that it continues to be as good as it is, because then it'll be a good book. But I have a feeling it's not. I have a feeling it's not gonna. It's just gonna kind
All
of
right. What else have you been up
blah.
to? Horizon, you wrote in here.
Oh, I'm not gonna say anything.
So
about
we're
it.
just kind of
Sorry.
trying to get you to move along.
I'm not gonna say anything about it.
Okay.
Cut that out.
Well, to jump on your talk about your time travel movie, time travel book, I actually just finished one as well. It was called All Our Wrong Todays by, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Elan Mastai.
Is that is that a time travel story?
It's a time travel story as well, yeah. So it's told from the perspective of the time traveler. And he's telling us how he got trapped in our today. So the premise of the book is that something happened in the past because they figured out time travel. He comes from this idyllic world where everything is fantastic. Like if you want something to eat, you go to the fridge and it's there for you, or the food processor generates it for you. Like the concept of growing food and raising things is ridiculous. He says, as he gets used to our world, he says he has to go to a hospital. They bandaged him up. He's like, the concept of using a fabric bandage over a wound to me is as prehistoric and primitive as the use of leeches, as you would consider the use of leeches from my world.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have got to read this
Yeah,
next.
that sounds good.
But the problem was something happened in the past that screwed up time, and now when he came back to his today, it's our Earth, not his timeline.
Ooh, I
So
have to read this.
Ours is the wrong time from his.
I've
point
been
of view.
saying that.
Yeah, we're all in agreement on that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was actually a really cool story.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's all told first person, so from his point of view. And he even jumps between perspectives at certain points, saying, maybe I need to try this from a different point of view. And they'll go on a tangent for a bit. He's like, now I just feel like I'm sounding obnoxious. I'm going to go back.
Was this an audiobook or an ebook?
This was I did it as an audiobook, yeah.
Is that on Audible, I guess?
It is. It's an Audible release. All Our Wrong Todays.
All right. Well, that sounds really interesting. I actually want to check that out. Thanks for bringing that one up.
No problem.
And, of course, you're still loving The Flash.
I love The Flash so much, yeah. I had to give up The Flash. This is my last rant about Iron Fist. I had to give up The Flash and Supergirl and all my favorites this week because I wanted to make sure I watched Iron Fist.
Thank you very much. We all appreciate it. I'm sure the audience appreciates it for your sacrifice. They all
Learn
better
from
appreciate
me.
all of our sacrifices, really.
That
You
was-
know what?
yeah.
If any of you
Learn
listening
from us.
haven't seen it yet, we're saving you. We're not
Yeah,
joking. This is
don't-
bad. Don't go watch it.
Yeah, this falls under our.
If you're gonna watch the first episode, right?
If someone is gonna offer you $1 million per episode,
Oh wow.
go for it.
Of course.
But anything less,
No, anything less.
walk
not
away.
worth it.
Just walk away. It ain't worth it.
All right, well, that's the show, everyone. Thank you for listening. We really hope that you enjoyed it. If you'd like to contact the show, you can do so at contact@shiftingfocuspodcast.com. Tell us what you think of your own favorite comic book TV show, or what you thought of our review of the train wreck that is Iron Fist. Write in, maybe even just tell us how wrong we are about Iron Fist. I mean, you'll be the one who's wrong, but we'd love to hear from you anyway. You can also visit our website, shiftingfocuspodcast.com is our website. Go there and you'll find links to all our various social media pages. Our Twitter is @ShiftingFocusPod, and for Facebook and YouTube, just go out there and search for the Shifting Focus Podcast. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll find videos relating to the show, and if you'd like to support the show, check us out on Patreon. More details are there. Thanks for joining me this week, Mike.
Have a nice weekend.
Dave.
Have a great week.
Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the movies, but not Iron Fist, because you won't enjoy that.
And it's a TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show, that's right. I've watched a few episodes and I really liked it and wanted to keep watching, but there's just so much other stuff to watch.
But is there better stuff to watch? No, so watch the fucking Flash.
What is this? Best or just comic book movies turned TV shows? Or
comic books turned.
Let's start that again, yeah. All right, so moving on to our top 5.5 list. This week we're looking at the top 5.5.
Let's not say top.
So this week, for our 5.5 list,
You said
I know.
top.
Let me try. I'm going to be worse, but let me try. All right, this week in our... Fuck, I just...
You were going to say top.
That was...